Hello there, Gemini. Dadhichi here again with your horoscope for the month. It's April 2018, and you're just coming out of a new moon phase. In fact, this month's pretty important. That new moon that occurred late last month in March, and still in your fifth house of love affairs, children, creative pursuits, and that's a powerful position, and one that requires you to, really step up and dig deeper into your creative self to find satisfaction at this time. Venus has just moved to your 12th house, so that's a strong expense and luxury area. If we take a look at that strong moon in the fifth house, it is a speculative moon, and therefore spending can be a problem for you. Now, you have to be careful of that because we currently see the retrograde movement of Mercury in your 11th house of gains. So what you're expecting there may not come to pass. Although Mercury is your ruling planet, and what I've found in my experience is that when the ruling planet is retrograde, and for you that's sometimes a few times a year, I'd say to you, just observe what happens. For Gemini and Virgo and some of the other signs to which Mercury is friendly, it's not going to give the same sort of results. It actually empowers you and gives you considerable strength. Nevertheless, I think you should tread carefully here, especially where it has to do with money, because that is an indicator of a more emotionally based way of spending money or investing it or gambling it. So therefore you may actually be not getting all the facts that you need prior to that. You've also got Jupiter retrograde in your 6th house of debts. So a lot of those areas of your horoscope are strongly activated. Mars, the other thing I wanted to talk about is the 8th house position of Mars and Saturn. These two planets can create a lot of frustration, a lot of conflict, and this is also exacerbated by the fact that your ruling planet Mercury, which is retrograde, which we've just said, is in the right angle to these two planets, in the zone of shared resources. So it seems to be a bit of a thread there relating to expenses, investments, luxurious living, and Jupiter in the 6th house. So take a little bit of care. From what I see here in the chart, both Mars and Saturn have now attained the same degree, which means that influence should now start to pass. Thank goodness, you say to yourself. The other important lunar event is the new moon that's going to take place in your 11th house of profitability. Now, that takes place on the 16th, and on the 15th, your ruling planet goes direct. So I'd say at that point, whatever it is you're thinking of expending on or spending on, investing or gambling on, looks better set to give you a return or a reward at that moment. So if you can possibly hold off till the middle of the month, even though I mentioned to you that the retrograde Mercury is not probably as bad for you as others. However, this may simply relate to your confidence, just a personal quality, not so much to do with the money and the finances. So that's important to bear in mind. The new moon does give you the opportunity to turn over a new leaf. The 11th house is friendships, social circumstances, so on and so forth. So that looks set to give you a better opportunity throughout the second half of the month. The right angle I mentioned and the difficult aspects are on the 4th and 5th of the month to Mars and Saturn respectively. We see the stationary movement, or the beginning of the forward movement, on the 15th. Then we have to accept that while it was moving retrograde, doing those tough aspects, it's going to make another tough aspect again on the way back to Saturn on the 26th. So although you will have, the green light and the thumbs up to do what it is you want, you'll probably still be a little bit cautious. The right angle of Mercury and Saturn give you a very, very focused sort of thinking. There may still, however, be limitations in your communication with others. So you also need to not be too demanding of other people at those moments, on those 2 dates, which is the 5th and again on the 26th. There are some nice aspects on the 28th to the North Node, showing that you're able to get into the slipstream of consensus or culture or the way people are thinking, and you'll be received well at that time. I mentioned also at the end of the month there is another full moon, and that will take place in Scorpio in your 6th house. So the end of the month is going to bring with it some focus on your health, medical work, exercising, diet, that sort of thing. And that full moon will be taking place next to Jupiter, which is your partner in relationships. So it's more likely, and you're probably thinking of conspicuously left out your relationships, that the following month may be more focused on that than it is throughout April. Take a look at astrology.com.au. I always mention that at the finishing of the reading, so you can get more information on what's going on, a more detailed snapshot of the coming month, the year, or even day-by-day analysis, along with any of those other more personal services that you may require. I look forward to you availing yourself of that, and also joining me again next month. Take care now. Bye-bye.